to my channel, Caffeine and Lesson Plans. Today I have some curriculum I want to share with you and kind of flip through with you. And it is the reading lesson. Teach your child to read in 20 easy lessons. I've seen this multiple times in multiple videos on YouTube, and I am using this not as a curriculum core or spine, but I'm using this as another supplement to my language arts program with my kindergartner and first grader. So I just want to kind of flip through this and show you what it is all about. Okay, so it says, welcome to the reading lesson. So the reading lesson, which is this curriculum, it starts out talking about how they don't use the whole language method of learning, okay? Really the right way to teach children to read, in their opinion, is the phonetic method. So taking small word blend or letter blends and then learning those sounds and then blending them together to make words, instead of just looking at words and memorizing them by sight. We want to give them the tools to be able to read other words, sound out other words as they continue to grow. I mean, I know there's lots of words sometimes that I will come across in books that I've not seen before, but I know how to sound them out and pronounce them because I learned phonetic rules. And so that's kind of what I want for my children. And so it talks about using the phonetic approach. Says what makes this program special. The reading lesson offers an easy to follow recipe for teaching children to read. It takes a child with no reading skills up to about a second grade level in reading. So the lessons are not too hard or too easy. They're very step by step. They teach letter sounds, blending, and build sight memory of important and often used key words. So they begin each lesson with 3 to 4 sounds and introduce sight words as they go along. The reading lesson uses a controlled vocabulary of developmentally appropriate words. The reading lesson does not follow the alphabet. Instead, it starts by teaching the most common letters in the English language. That way, the child can begin reading words and simple stories from the very first lesson. The reading lesson uses only lowercase letters in the first 10 lessons of the course. Often, young children do not know lowercase letters well, and so that is why they start out with lowercase letters first. The reading lesson uses special typography. The letters are large early in the lesson and smaller as they progress. They use special symbols to help children learn complex and irregular rules of English pronunciation. Children often confuse certain letters such as B and D. There are special marks to help the child distinguish these two letters. The reading lesson is designed for children ages 4 to 8. Since most children in this age group cannot follow if-then rules, or such as I before E except after C, we have kept all rules to a bare minimum. Your child will learn these rules in due course as a part of the school curriculum. We do not teach the difference between vowels and consonants. As you will see, your child will learn to read just fine without having to memorize these types of rules. So those things, consonants, vowels, other language or grammar rules, my children will learn in their curriculum with the good and the beautiful. This is just a supplement to kind of get them, kind of jumpstart the reading process with them. And my first grader is already reading quite well. But I wanted to, we've been on a break for summer. I figured this would be a good place to start, and we might go through this quicker and get through it and then not have to worry about it and just work on her good and the beautiful stuff. But this is going to be really helpful for my kindergartner who is not yet reading at all. Okay, and then also the reading lesson concentrates primarily on teaching the child to decode, that is to read. Okay, so decoding should not be confused with reading comprehension. So this isn't about reading comprehension, it's about reading itself. And then it goes into how to use the lesson. The lesson is typically 20 pages. So these lessons are not meant to be done in one day. So 20 lessons doesn't mean they're going to be reading in 20 days. Obviously, you need to go by what your child is comfortable with. Over here it says for children under 5, 1 page per day. For children between 5 and 6, 2 to 3 pages per day. For children over 6, 3 or more pages per day. And to keep kind of the lesson under 15 minutes and spend more than 5 to 7 minutes per page. Spend no more, than 5 to 7 minutes per page. So they don't want you to overwhelm the child with all of this new information. To go slow, you may have to backtrack, you may have to hang out in a lesson for a while, and that's completely fine. You need to go at your child's pace. Alright, so the rest of this here talks about some of the other curriculum supplements that they have. We didn't buy any of those, we just bought this book. This right here is the table of contents. It shows the 20 lessons, and then it shows the sounds that you will be using. And they ask you when you read the letters to read them by their sound and not specifically by their name, because they want the child to focus on the letter's sound more so than its name, which makes sense. And then it talks about the alphabet that they use is a phonetic alphabet, not just the standard alphabet. And so you'll see here, for instance, this is their alphabet, and you have A for A for ah, and A for A. So you've got all 3 different types of A's, and this A doesn't have any kind of symbol with it. This one has a small circle above it. This one has it also has a small mark above it. Looks like a little upside down V. Anyway, so that's kind of how they are. Down here, like, you've got C twice because it has those 2 different sounds. Same with E and G, and that's kind of the alphabet that they focus on with the child. So this is the beginning of lesson 1, and they do suggest reading through each lesson before you start, because there are definitely some things that you need to know, especially since the lessons are a little bit longer. It's not necessarily your prepping stuff, but just needing to know ahead of time what to say and how to direct the child before you actually start the lesson. So this is a couple pages here of kind of teacher instruction, and then this is how the lesson begins. So it says this is a letter, this has a name, and it has a sound. The name of this letter is C, and its sound is K. And then down here, this is a word. And so you just kind of follow the prompts and do what it tells you to do with the child. And there are cute little activities like, drawing lines to things. You're not just reading and sounding out words every time. So it's not the same thing over and over again. They're not going to get super bored or anything. Like here, you're drawing lines to the letters, to the pictures that make the same sound or start with the same sound, tracing. And this is lesson 2. So you can see lesson 1's pretty lengthy. Like I said, it's about 20 pages, and all of the lessons are about that long. But like I said, With my youngest, my kindergartner, I'll probably do 1, maybe 2 pages with him a day. Probably only 1, since we're supplementing this with another curriculum, and we're using Handwriting Without Tears, which will be good for his handwriting. And so I'm really starting to learn a little bit more about what I need to be doing for my child, such as in the past, if I felt like something was like a curriculum was missing something, or maybe I didn't like it that well, or it was kind of boring, I would just switch it up. And after watching a lot of YouTube videos, and especially there's one that Tanya did about changing curriculum that really kind of opened my eyes, where you shouldn't just every single year change curriculum, because that's how holes open up in their what they've learned. So what I am trying to do and be better about is we have a core or a spine, and that is what we're sticking with, because everything I've chosen for those, like history, math, and language arts and all that, they are working very well for us. But sometimes, yes, we get bored. So instead of trying to switch to something different, I'm bringing in supplements so that we can change it up day to day, but we're not flipping our core curriculum to where they're going to have holes in their education. So I'm excited to use this and all of the other things. I'm really excited. We're probably going to start our school year the beginning of August, like the first full week of August. I want to kind of get a jump start on it. It always gives us a nice some leeway in case, you know, kids get sick or we have to take days off and all that. I like to kind of start a little bit early. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, just post them in the comment box below. And if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you all very soon. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.